Good morning, dear students. Let us proceed with the next part of the lesson or next useful microorganism called as yeast. Now, you might have heard this word before also, right? In case of bread making, correct? So, yeast, you are familiar with yeast, or you might have studied in 7th standard about asexual type of reproduction called as budding. So, now let us learn about this yeast today. So before we proceed, let us perform a simple activity. For this, we require a transparent glass bottle. In that, we are going to add 1 spoonful of active dry yeast and around 2 spoonfuls of sugar. Okay, so why sugar is required? Because yeast likes carbon compounds. So for its growth, and therefore sugar powder is also added in the yeast. Now add some lukewarm water. Fine. Now shake the mixture well and fit on the mouth of the bottle one balloon. Okay, and wait for 10 minutes. What do you observe? So you can see that a balloon has inflated after 10 minutes. Why this thing has happened? That means some gas is produced inside, right? Now, which gas has accumulated in the balloon then? Let us see. We will try to find out which gas is this. So for that we will perform a small activity. We'll take a small test tube and in that we'll put lime water. I hope you know about lime water, where it is used, for what it is used. So now to this test tube we are going to fit the balloon, okay, and shake the mixture or in tilt the test tube so that the gas inside the balloon comes in contact with the lime water. Fine. Then after some time, keep it for some time, and then you will see that there is some change in the test tube. What do you notice here? The lime water has turned milky, and you know that when lime water turns milky, it is nothing but the carbon dioxide gas which is produced. So remember students, the yeast always produces carbon dioxide gas when it is using sugar or carbohydrates for its growth. Fine. Now let us try to see now how yeast looks like under the microscope. For this we'll require glass slide. Put a drop of glass slide. Put a drop of yeast solution on the glass slide, and before you proceed, you keep the bottle aside so that can be used for a later use. Now once you put a drop of yeast solution on the slide, place a cover slip with the help of the mounting needle. Then remove the excess solution with the help of a blotting paper. Now it is ready to be observed under the microscope. So keep it under the microscope 10x first and then observe it. What do you see? So you see here some oval shaped structures, right? So these oval shaped structures, colorless structures, are nothing but yeast cells. And you can also see round structure coming out, growing out from them. Do you know what is that? Yes, it is nothing but a bird coming out. B-U-D, bird, not B-I-R-D. So it's a bird coming out from the yeast cell. So why this is coming? It's because it has reproduced asexually. It is also called as the daughter cell. Okay, so yeast reproduces asexually by the process of budding, and so it forms the buds like this in this manner, and then it goes on reproducing. Once the daughter cell becomes the same size as that of the mother cell, then it gets detached from the mother cell and survive as an individual cell later on. Okay, fine. So what is actually happening here? This heterotrophic fungal microbe yeast grows and multiplies by using the carbon compound present in the sugar solution as their food. Fine. So they start reproducing by use of carbon compound present in the sugar solution here. What we have used here, sugar solution, or maybe carbohydrates also. So what it does, sugar is getting converted to alcohol and carbon dioxide. So this process is also called as fermentation. When sugar is getting converted to alcohol and carbon dioxide by yeast. This process is called as fermentation. Fine. So now you know that even for preparation of the bread, yeast is used. Now let us see how bread is prepared using yeast. For this will require 4 cups of white flour, also called as maida. In a large bowl you can take and add to it 4 cups of white flour or maida. Then you have to add 1 teaspoonful of salt, some oil, and then mix the mixture, and then you have to add the sugar solution along with the yeast. Now, once everything is mixed together, knead the dough until it becomes elastic and smooth, and then cover the dough with a damp kitchen napkin. Put the dough aside for around half an hour. Let us see what happens after half an hour. After half an hour, you remove the napkin. Now, what do you see here? You see that the dough has risen, correct? Now, why this has happened? Why it has risen? Correct? Let us see. So you have just now learned that by the process of fermentation, yeast converts sugar present in the food into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So you know carbon dioxide is a gas, and gas always tries to escape, correct? So here also, since yeast is added to the dough, you know dough contains some amount of carbohydrates or sugar in that. So it converts the sugar into carbon dioxide, and since carbon dioxide tries to escape here, it makes the dough, causes the dough to rise up. Okay, so this is what is happening, and so afterwards you when you get that dough which has already risen after half an hour, you need to knead the dough and divide it into 2 equal balls. Fine. So after dividing the making each ball of a dough into a loaf, then you have to transfer this loaf into the into the pan. So before you transfer, see that you grease the loaf pans with the oil and transfer the loaves to the loaves pan. Afterwards, bake the loaves at around 400 degree Fahrenheit for around 40 minutes. Okay. So once after the 40 minutes, you will find that now a nice bread, fluffy bread has formed. So it is very spongy. What has made the bread spongy? You know the carbon dioxide gas which were trapped in the dough comes out while baking, and this makes the bread spongy. But have you noticed your mother preparing chapati anytime? So whenever the chapati is roasted, you will find, what do you notice here? Whenever chapati is roasted, you find that the chapati is becoming, swells up. Why this is happening? Here you did not add any yeast, correct? You did not add yeast, or it is only the wheat flour which is used. Yeast is not added at all, but still you find that the chapati is becoming swelling up, but it is not spongy. Now, why this is happening is because while roasting chapatis, the water present in it gets converted into steam and tries to escape. So while doing so, it lifts up the upper layer of the chapati and the chapati swells up. So this is how, this is what is happening while roasting the chapati. So it is not the yeast which is added, it is the water which is trying to escape in the form of water vapor. Now let us see little ahead. Do you know? Often alcohol is produced along with sugar in the sugar factories, and molasses is produced from the sugar cane. So remember student, molasses prepared from the sugar cane which is rich in carbohydrate. Molasses is nothing but the thick sugar syrup. Okay, so from this molasses, what is happening is that molasses is fermented using yeast called as Saccharomyces, and in this ethanol is produced as the primary product. You might have heard about ethanol. Ethanol is nothing but the alcohol which is the main constituent of the fermentation by yeast. Here, molasses contains either glucose or fructose, which are sugars, and so this sugar is getting converted into ethanol, which becomes a primary product here, and which is a very useful alcohol in the form of fuel, or it is used as a fuel, clean fuel. Fine. So it is very important for the product. Yeast are very important in the case of production of ethanol. So the secondary products which are produced over here are nothing but esters and other alcohols. They also can be used further. Ester is nothing but it's a very fragrant organic solvent. It is also used in making perfumes. So even spirit, you might have heard about spirit, right? So spirit is nothing but the one which is used to sterilize or clean your hands or kill the germs from your hands. So clinical spirit, what we say, is also prepared from ethanol. Spirit and other alcohols can be obtained from ethanol. Fine. So this is how from molasses, ethanol is a smokeless and high quality fuel. So that means it is better fuel as compared to petrol and diesel, because it does not give any smoke. Now, apart from molasses, fermentation can be done even from other grains like maize, barley, or some other grains like wheat. Correct? Glucose or fructose from the grape juice gets converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide, and wines are prepared. So ethanol production is very useful or cost effective, you can say, because it is produced from all these grains and which are readily available. So it is a cost effective phenomenon. Okay, production of ethanol. So ethanol is smokeless and high quality fuel. Now ethanol is also less polluting fuel than petrol and diesel. Since it is smokeless, it is less polluting. So you know that the fossil fuels, the petrol and diesel, are used mostly as the fuel, correct? But they are very polluting, and also remember they are non-renewable. So in place of this, if suppose ethanol is added to these fuels, it will become very cost effective. First of all, cost effective. Secondly, it will reduce the air pollution. Now recently, it has been made compulsory in India and some other countries to mix around 10% of ethanol with fuels like petrol and diesel, because it's a smokeless fuel. Now, you know that in Nasik there are many wineries, correct? Why they are situated there? It's because grapes are growing in Nasik. Nashik is famous for grapes, and you know grape is a very perishable fruit. Why? Because it gets spoiled very fast. So it's better to use these grapes for making wine from them. So making wine out of grapes becomes a suitable measure for converting perishable fruits into a long lasting wine. You should be aware, you might be aware that wines are having medicinal properties, and wines can last for years together. The older the wine, the better it tastes, and better is its quality. It maintains the health of the people. It is good even for the heart patients, right? So it also has many antioxidant properties. So wine is very useful, and wine is prepared from grapes, and grape juice is fermented with the help of yeast. So you see, yeast is so useful. Fine. So remember about yeast. Next, let us continue further. So it since wineries are located near the grape farms and all, it reduces the transportation cost and easy accessibility to the raw material. Fine. So this is regarding how they are used. So Nasik, there are industries of the grape wine also. Wineries are situated in Nasik. Now, do you know that yeast are also used to clean the environment? There is a process or term called as bioremediation. Now, what does this bioremediation means? Bioremediation is a waste management technique that involves the use of microbes to minimize the pollution, and one of the microbes which is used to clean the different things are nothing but yeast. So one of the yeast is Yarovia lipolytica, second one is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and third one is Alkane borax. So all these three yeast are very useful in bioremediation. Now let us see where Yarovia lipolytica is used. Yarovia lipolytica is used to absorb the toxins released during the production of palm oil and the heavy metals and minerals released in some other industrial process. So it's a very useful yeast because it removes the toxins which are released due to formation of the palm oil. Second one, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is also used for absorption of pollutant, that is arsenic. Arsenic is a heavy metal, and heavy metals are always polluting ones. So arsenic is removed by Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is also used in the production of wine. Remember students, and even for making bread also Saccharomyces cerevisiae species of yeast is very useful. Now let us see the third one, the last one, that is Alkane borax. So Alkane borax mostly grows, requires oil for its growth. Therefore Alkane borax bacteria is used to clean up oil spills in the ocean. So you see, yeast is a very useful organism, not only in making bread and wine but also helps in bioremediation, also helps in the production of ethanol, which is used as a good quality fuel because it's a smokeless fuel and less polluting. So therefore now yeast is so much important for us, so useful microorganism. So I hope so you have understood about yeast. So in the next video we are going to learn about the next part of the lesson, that is antibiotics, how they are produced by using which type of useful microorganism. So till then students, bye and thank you. God bless you.